Picking up now with verse 11, for the grace of God has appeared, bringing salvation to all men. Now this appearance of grace we're going to understand in just a few verses is the appearing of God in human flesh through the person of Jesus Christ. Again, we're doing our interpretive work here in light of everything that the story has built up to until Paul now writing this letter. So we have to remember that in the Old Testament, salvation and those concepts were primarily focused on the Jews as God's chosen people. But now, with Christ coming, the message of salvation has gone out to the Gentiles. Now, Paul brings salvation into discussion at this point, and it's in this context of Titus and the people on Crete being Gentiles themselves. That's the idea behind his saying that salvation has been brought to all men. This is a recurring theme in his writings. We see it in Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians. This realization that in Christ, Jew and Gentile are now brought together in the church. And this ties into the problem of the Judaizers who are teaching a works-based salvation, because they're basing that teaching on a fundamental misunderstanding of the law given in the Old Testament. Remember, the issue with the Judaizers is they're wanting to take a bad interpretation of the Old Testament and the law and then apply that to Gentile Christians. And Paul, as a Jewish apostle to the Gentiles, is logically very concerned about this. So here with verse 11, Paul is beginning a brief section that really justifies all that he said up to this point. Essentially, his point is going to be that the grace of God encourages those who believe towards sensible thinking and right behavior, or what you might call good works, and it's not the other way around, which is what the Judaizers are teaching. Again, I hope you're starting to see at this point that it's very difficult to separate everything Paul is saying here from the core issue of these Judaizers teaching a works-based salvation. And if there are still any sort of lingering questions on that point, I think it'll become a little clearer as we continue our study in these next few verses.